Hi, hello students. Uh, this video I will guide you through the uh, how to do the research for the beginners. Okay, my name is Dr. Alex Bodin or Bodin Payaprom. I am resided in Bangkok, Thailand, and I hope you get benefit from this video. Okay, so as my experiencing supervise a lot of students who doesn't have the background in research, so I try to communicate with you and wants to you to get the right start in the beginning, so you can do the research correctly. Okay, we have to agree that what is research first. Okay, research is not about writing. Many people think research is about writing an essay or something, but research is not. Research is something like the process of searching for the answer of or understanding the questions or issues we don't fully know or understand. It involves gathering collection of data and analyze and find the answer and gain the deeper knowledge. So, in short, research is about uh, asking the questions and uh, find the answer or the the knowledge from that answer in the scientific way. Okay, so building block of research. First, to begin with, I am very emphasized on the research questions. So you have to make a clear research question first, or even write the topics. I don't do the topic yet when I start my research. I start with the research questions because research question is important to your research, the whole paper. It will determine your research design, how you collect the data, how you analyze the data, how you summarize, and the objective of the research is to find the answer for your questions. So if you have to do the research, you must start with the clear research questions. So you can search more how to uh, make or write the clear research questions. Okay. So to begin with, what are you trying to answer or understand? This is the research question before the topic. The topic or abstract or writing anything, I will do the last part of my writing. If you start with writing, you will find it very difficult because you don't know what to write, because research is not about writing, it's about finding the answer. Okay, after you determine your research questions, uh, you need to gathering the data. You either survey, interview, or doing experiment, or doing the literature review or whatever. This is we call data collection or gathering the data, and then you will do the data analysis. uh, Depends on your data, qualitative or quantitative, or how you collect the data. So you use the appropriate method to find meaning of the data. You interpret the meaning of the data, and then you interpret, making sense of the results and drawing conclusion, and then you will get the answer for your research questions, and end up with the communication, your research, which means we are writing or presenting or whatever. It is the last part. Many people doing research starting from writing, which is I am not very encouraged, especially for the new researcher or beginner. Okay, so when you write, you plan for your research, okay, you should think about what to write in the chapter one. Okay, I suggest you answer these three questions first. Don't need to write anything. Answer these questions in bullet point. Okay, what is your research questions? What is the research objective? Research question and research objective will have to be along get along together in the same way. Uh, if you ask the question, then objective is to serve to answer the question. So when you write the objective, it will be you know telling how what to do to answer that questions. Okay, and Before doing anything, you have to finding the gap. Many people are finding the gap first, which is correct. You have the research gap. You want to know what you want to know, and then you can explain why you want to know. But normally, in our common sense, before doing research, in your skin feeling, you uh, you will have the equations in your on your own already. So explain why this research question need to be answered. Maybe this question or these problems never been researched before. No one get the answer for this question before, or something like that. This is the research gap. Okay, and in the literature review, chapter 2, okay, if I were you, I will suggest you to draft in bullet point for each chapter. Don't write anything yet, okay? So you get a whole picture in a small piece of paper. Okay, concepts, everything will be here. Okay, the literature review, uh, what do you do with the literature review? Okay, you have to think about what are the answers that has been previously found. Mean that we have to search for the previously research in different contexts. Maybe, for example, what make the people buy uh, uh, dog food or something like that. Okay, so the keyword gonna be pet. You don't consume the dog food yourself, but you buy it for your dog. So if you want to know what makes the people intention to buy the food for the dog, maybe you can find, supposing nobody do it before for the dog, okay, maybe you can find their previous research that they can do it for uh, the cat food, or why people buy uh, the the food for their cats, their chicken, their birds, something like that. So you see the what to say, the variable that make the people buy. Okay, then you can assume that in your dog food will be similar. We call it hypothesis development. Okay, for example, there might be previous research about the dog food, but that study was conducted in Singapore or in Malaysia or in Bangkok, but not in India, or maybe in India, but nobody studied in Thailand before. Then maybe consumer behavior might be different. Okay, so this is we can study from the previous research about this, and we take a note, jot down, then we have presume uh, the the answer for that research. Okay, and from the previous research study research paper, how do you develop your own hypothesis in your context? That's as I gave the sample of people buying dog food in Singapore might have a different or the same in your countries. So your hypothesis might be people buy the dog food because or trust in manufacturing influence the purchasing intention of dog food. Okay, so if the previous study have given this kind of answer, then you can give the same answer as well. I mean, for your hypothesis, but your hypothesis or your research will do in your different contexts or in different time. Maybe 100 years ago, have found this, but maybe it's not the same result today. Okay, time different context or something like that. That can be the hypothesis development. Okay, and you have to plan your writing sequences, jot down your top topic that lead to hypothesis development. The pre-answer or assumption that you're gonna do, you think it's gonna be affect or it's gonna be give the result of that uh, of that study. We call it hypothesis, which means that is a previous is a assumption That gonna be hypothesis is assumptions. Okay, and you can give the definitions of variables. What makes the people buy the dog food? Maybe because of trust, maybe because of price, 4P, something like that. I mean, previous theory or classic theory that explain the people's behavior can use. So you can explain each variable to communicate and terms. Okay, and hypothesis is what you want to present in the chapter, in this chapter 2. Okay, for the qualitative and exploratory qualitative research, you might not need the hypothesis because it's a new thing, new phenomenon or something like that. So in writing the literature review for the qualitative research, maybe or may not using the hypothesis. Okay, there's no rule for qualitative research. Okay, in qualitative research, you might or might not have the hypothesis, but you need to communicate the previous similarities and difference of the previous findings in different contexts. Okay, for my tips is before writing the literature review, you use the citation software to help you write. For example, EndNote, PaperPie. My favorite software is PaperPie. You can use Mendeley or Zotero to write to use in the citation and references, and you save your time, a lot of time. Okay, please request me by email if you want a training, special training for using that software. So it took about 8 months for me to write my PhD research by using this software. Okay, and you can use the literature review table to help organize your reading, because you're going to read a lot. To avoid you confused or what I read, what I want to know, what I should focus on in reading. Okay, you can use this template. You can screen capture this abstract readings table. Okay, when you read the literature of previous research, okay, you don't need to read the whole paper. You can read the abstract. Okay, so you write down in this bullet point in the table like this. What is that research topic? Okay, and what's the source? You put it here in the first columns. What is their research questions? Okay, and what methodology do they collect the data, and what methodology do they target populations? How do they sampling the sample, the sample size, and what methodology do they collect the data? It's quantitative or qualitative, and how do they analyze the data? If they use quantitative, what statistic did they use? Is it proper method? On if they use qualitative, what analysis method do they use? Do they use the thematics research qualitative method or not? Or what way they do it? Okay, and is their finding, do they summarize in the abstract? Okay, this is the key component of research. If your research, if your paper you want to read and use as a reference, it should be have at least these 5 components. Okay, and finally, to avoid your confusions, you have to link between your research questions and their findings. Okay, do their findings answer their research question or not? Okay, and do they use the correct methodology? Is it sound? Is it reasonable? The method they collect the data, and the tools they analyze the data is correct or not? If all the correct, the way is correct, then their finding is scientific and reliable. Okay, so in chapter 3, before writing the proposal, after you answer all the questions I have given before, in chapter 3, what type of research should you do? Okay, it depends on your research question. It is needed to get answer yes or no. If it is yes or no, then we do the quantitative. Okay, or it needs explanation, description, explains phenomena, or writing something new, and you go to interview the people, something like that. So you may do the qualitative. Okay, and most of my students are good at qualitative because you don't need to get involved with statistics or complicated sampling methodology or something. Okay, normally, for example, qualitative, you can interview one by one on one, okay, until you get the repeat answer. Okay, you can use the template and transcript method. Okay, template and transcript method is you have like for 10 questions, is a qualitative, starting with how, how, why, or something like that. Okay, then you ask people why do they have that habits or attitude like that. Try to understand that. So your answer you need to be to correct in a qualitative research, and then you in you we call it template. You ask by template one on one, okay, and then you write we call, I don't know how to say, you open the recording and type in all the conversation, and you highlight the theme and coding, and do they five of them not speak the same thing what they think in the same way, so we can identify them as the coding and the theme. Okay, and then you can summarize by yourself. The qualitative is good if you are good at asking and nice listener. Okay, so you are the research instrument yourself. Okay, is there in the questions, your question, like asking is there any relationship between x and y or something like that, it needs to be answered by doing the quantitative, because the quantitative can give you the answer yes or not, or comparison. Okay, by data type is uh, numeric. Okay, to what extent this is more than x more than y. Okay, or these two variable more or less in different scenario. Okay, give the different result. Okay, these kind of things I suggest doing quantitative. Okay, likely the research method in quantitative, this one. Okay, so then when you prepare for research proposal, okay, identify your research target and population, how many of them or something like that, and how you, if you do the quantitative, you must make it more rigorous. How you sampling your samples. For example, 1,000 people, how you uh, make sure that your respondent represent the whole 1,000. Okay, there's method like, for example, how to sampling. Okay, so everyone have a chance to be picked up. Or and okay, how many of them represent would be statistically represent the 1,000 target populations. Okay, this is important. Okay, how would you sampling techniques select the best represent your target populations? How many of your sample size would you need to make sure they will represent your target population? This is important. So you have to write down everything here, and this is research plan. Okay, and research design and methodology, uh, how you use your research instrument. Okay, in quantitative research, is your questionnaire or survey form is valid and reliable questions. Okay, it need to be proved that this instrument or the survey questionnaire is have reliability and validity. Okay, reliability, you can use the combat alpha. Okay, above 7 is reliable or something like that. Okay, so in order to avoid the mistake in validity and reliable, validity you can use the expert opinion. For example, someone that acceptable, like people graduate from PhD. Okay, and read your question or questionnaire, they can give you, oh, okay, it's related, is valid. The question is valid to your uh, uh, questions. Okay, but reliability, you need to do tests we call pilot tests, maybe 30 or 35 or 40, and then you have to run it in to find the combat alpha value to find it is reliable. It is complicated if you have a short time period of time to do the research. At the beginner, I suggest you adopt from previous research questionnaire to yourself. Okay, and you give the citation that this questionnaire is adopted from somebody. Okay, and there is reliable and validable. Okay, if not, doing the qualitative, you don't need to do much. Okay, you only look at the specifically validity, give to your supervisor to verify it is valid or not, professor. Okay, and this question is reliable, related or not. Okay, this is how to prove the survey items are valid and reliable. Okay, but in qualitative research, you use the template of the question to guide your research and how you decide to collect the data. Okay, in-depth interview and focus group is common for the beginner. Okay, in-depth interview, you talk to about 10 or 20 people, ask the same question or similar question. You just have a conversation with them and you write it down, each of them. You spend 45 minutes or online or 1 hour, and you can record the conversations. Okay, this is data collections. Or you don't want to do the observations. This is your personal observations. Okay, but if you use the focus group, you can gathering the people maybe online, in the same time, at the same time, and you ask the questions and lead the conversation, and then you record everything and you make the transcript later and analyze the data later. This is called focus group. Okay, I suggest if you don't have much time, doing qualitative will help you. Okay. Okay. For the first work, you need to do a research proposal. Okay. After you prepare all the thing, you don't write anything yet. I emphasize, I suggest don't write anything yet. Okay. So afterwards, you go to plan for chapter 3. Okay. Then chapter 3 is about research design and methodology. Okay. You're doing how you collect the data. This already in chapter 3. You will talk about the chapter 3 here. How you do the data analysis. What you plan to do. Okay. How you will analyze the data. If quantitative, if you do the causal effect, like this variable lead to another variable, we call causal. Okay, this one impact or influence another one. Okay, this is causal. You might use the statistics in analysis. We call it multiple regression analysis or regression analysis. It's different statistics. If you compare two things, you might use t-test analysis. Okay, two group, ANOVA or something. You need to identify what is your question. If you compare to variables, you use what statistics or something like that. But if you use the qualitative, okay, it's common to use template analysis and use thematics analysis, which is more flexible and not very tight on you too much. Okay, to use statistics, but I don't limit you. If you want to do the quantitative, please contact me, and then I will guide you individually for a different way of different questions or type of question that you need different statistics, and we will work on it. Okay, if your research method is qualitative, I suggest you use a thematic analysis. But anyway, we can have a discussion later. But qualitative method would be more flexible and easy for you to get started. Okay. So after you plan everything, you write it down in bullet point. Okay. Then you start writing. It's very easy when you have something to write. it will be very difficult if you don't have anything to write and you get confused and you don't know what to get started and you stop in the middle because maybe you the way you think is not synchronized. Okay, so research proposal right preparing is simple if you have the what to write. Okay, so after you plan all the content, now it's time to write up, study the writing pattern and format. Okay, and then you just writing finish. Okay, in summary, writing part is the most easiest part for me and maybe for you too. Okay, chapter one. What is the goal of chapter one? The chapter one is to convince or persuasive the reader. Okay, we call persuasive writing pattern. Okay, convince the reader to see the necessary of your research and to show them the gap of the research question, and it must lead to the research question. You just lead them to see that this research question is important to be answered. Okay, this is the target is to convince the reader that research question is important to answer, and you have to make sure what is your research question is. Okay, chapter 2, you give the definition and explain the relationship between variables from previous research and show how you to develop your hypothesis. The end of the objective of the chapter 2 is to explain the relationship and explain what happened, what is assumed to be answered in the previous research, and give definitions. And you have to lead everything, write down, okay, and lead the reader to agree with you on the hypothesis you have developed. Why you would develop this hypothesis and why this hypothesis is presumed or assumed that's going to be the answer of your research questions. Okay, and you explain what the terms and in each variables. Okay, and in chapter 3, you need to explain how you collect the data. This is the way you will collect the data and analyze the data. Okay, and if you do quantitative, of course you need to explain the population and why you for example 10,000 populations, why you use the sample size of 394. Okay, because Taro Yamane have say so. Okay, determine that you have to collect at least 394 samples to make it statistically valid. Okay, so and how from 300 something like this, how you sampling pick them up that every one of 10,000 respond population will be have the equal chance to be picked up. Okay, so you have to explain the scientific way that it is the non-probability or probability sampling technique. Okay, it's going to be details for the quantitative, but we can discuss. Just email me. Okay, but if you think qualitative might be fit with your lifestyle or time, okay, I agree. Okay, and in chapter 3, you may need to explain how you will collect the data. Okay, the each thing of this you have to answer and write it down. Okay, no use to write a lot but without answer these things or include this key component in your research. Okay, how you collect the data are going to be included in chapter 3. Who you will collect the data from, who is your target population, you want to study in which group. Okay, you have to explain the sample size and survey questionnaire, how your validity on reliability of your research, okay, of your research questionnaire or survey instrument. Okay, and explain how you will analyze the data or why you choose this analysis method. Okay, this is going to be included in chapter 3. Okay, for the 3 parts, we call it proposal. You explain that why you need to answer this question, what's your questions, and what terms and variable involved in these studies. It's going to be chapter 2 and chapter 3, how you collect the data and how you analyze the data. Okay. Okay. For tips for me, for you, start writing the paper after you have draft the idea. I always say that draft the idea first. Don't need to write anything. Your writing going to be finished in 3 days or 7 days. Believe me, if you have something to write. Okay, and you can use the AI help you form your writing. It's no harm, but the content must be from you, not from the AI. Okay, this is I warn you because generative AI can give you the false information and false method. You have to write down your knowledge first, and AI can help you on language writing. Okay. Okay, and you use. I suggest using Google Doc instead of Word or Microsoft Word. Okay, and I think Google Doc is very good in doing the research, and you will never lose your work because it's online. Okay, and I also suggest using the automatic citation software. Like for me, my favorite is PaperPie. It gives 45 days for free and extendable for another 45 days, which is uh, some of my students uses 45 days and they just extend for another 45 days. Okay, but if you want to buy it, okay, it's $30 per year. Okay, how to use it? Just type PaperPie in YouTube and you will see how to use the PaperPie David train online. Okay. Okay, Q&A because it's recorded, so you don't have a chance to Q&A with me live. So please email me or you just, not email, you just uh, ask me any question in the web board, okay, discussion board, and then we answer. Okay, plan your timeline is important. Okay, and I think you have to use at least about 3-4 days to write these 3 chapters, and it's about 5,000 words to 7,000 words for the proposal is enough. Okay, but you need to include every component or every thing that we have discussed. That what is the key component of each chapters. Okay, and please attend your next webinar with me. Okay, last time there's only few people. Okay, then please join the webinar and then you have a consultation session with me live online. Thank you very much. You just email me at alex@advex.ac.th if you have any question, or the best way is put your question on the database, on the discussion board. Sorry, not database. Okay, bye bye.